I have a childhood friend who has been mooching off me since we were kids. At the dinner table, my dad joked, "Why not just marry my son, Wan Wan? That way, you won't have to come over every day." Just as I was about to criticize my dad for his wild ideas, the doorbell rang. At the door, a line of men in black, led by a butler, bowed at a 90-degree angle. "The richest man sent me to pick you up. The projects you invested in worth hundreds of billions. Need you to go back and sign some papers." I watched my dad's glass fall to the floor. The trembling braised pork my mom makes. I feel like our family's meals, for the past 20 years, might be for something extraordinary. My name is Jiang Jie, just an ordinary guy. If I had to say there's anything extraordinary about me, I guess it's that I have a childhood friend. And this friend is a bit unusual. Her name is Lin Wanwan, and she lives across from me. Since I can remember, it's like she's been sitting at our dinner table all along. Rain or shine, 3 meals a day without fail. The reason when I was a kid was that my friend's mom cooked better than my own. But now that I'm grown up, the reason is, my parents are on business trips again. There's no one at home to cook. For 20 years, it's been the same, rain or shine. Even my dog at home, when it sees her, would skillfully nudge its food bowl into the corner, afraid she won't even spare the dog food. My parents have treated her like a daughter for a long time. They always smile and add an extra set of chopsticks and bowls. While eating the biggest rib, I notice how skinny you are. My mother, Ms. Zhang Huifang, always looks at her with a loving gaze, like a caring mother. My father, Comrade Jiang Jianghua, after a couple of drinks, pats me on the shoulder and sighs. "Look how great Wan Wan is, son. Whoever marries her will be really lucky." I just want to say, your fortune is your meal, mine is mine. Today is just another ordinary Saturday. The sunset shines through the window, bathing our wooden dining table, which has been used for over a decade, in a warm golden glow. On the table, there are 4 dishes and a soup: braised pork and cola chicken wings, stir-fried tomatoes with eggs and garlic greens, plus a pot of corn and spare rib soup. My dad, Comrade Jiang Jianghua, just opened a bottle of Niulanshan. He poured himself a glass and took a satisfying sip, but nothing beats the taste of the food your mom makes. My mom shot her a glance and said, "You're so sweet-tongued." Meanwhile, the star of the dinner table is occupied by Comrade Lin Wanwan. She has a chicken wing in her left hand and a piece of braised pork in her right. Her mouth is stuffed to the brim, mumbling in agreement. Auntie's cooking is the best in the world. Looking at her shiny little mouth, I just couldn't help myself. "Lin Wanwan, were you a starving ghost in your past life? Eat slowly, no one is competing with you." She swallowed the meat in her mouth, glaring at me, her cheeks still puffed up. "Mind your own business with that big pork chop in your bowl. If you don't hurry, it's going to be mine." Saying that, she reached her chopsticks towards my bowl. I quickly snatched the bowl away, thinking it was a nice dream. This was specifically left for me by my mom. The cheapskate who mooches off meals has no right to talk. We usually banter back and forth. My parents are watching nearby, grinning with delight. They have that comforting expression, like they're watching a young couple flirt. All right, Jay-Z, give Wan Wan a break. My dad has spoken. He seems to be in a particularly good mood today. He poured himself another drink. Her cheeks were flushed. He looked at Lin Wanwan, who was focused on her meal. Suddenly, he smiled like a cunning old fox. What's up, uncle?" Lin Wanwan looked up. She still had a piece of vegetable in her mouth. My dad says surprising things. "You see, you come to our house for dinner every day. It's like you're part of the family. Uncle wants to discuss something with you. Why don't you just marry our Xiao Zhe then?" I suddenly spat out my soup. Luckily, I turned my head in time. Otherwise, this meal would have been ruined. My mom was momentarily taken aback. Then she laughed and gave my dad a gentle nudge. "That old man is just babbling nonsense after a few drinks." Lin Wanwan's fair little face turned bright red in an instant, like a ripe apple. He hung his head, fiddling with the hem of his clothes, unable to say anything for a long time. My dad was still going on about it. "I'm not just talking nonsense here. Look, once Wanwan gets married, she won't have to run around every day. It'll save us some trouble, and we'll have an extra daughter in the family. It's great to have family ties strengthened." The more he talked, the more he felt his idea was stroke of genius. "Xiao Jie, what do you think?" He threw the question back to me. I looked at Lin Wanwan, who was almost burying her face in the bowl, and then at my dad, who looked eager with anticipation. My survival instincts kicked in, and I instantly switched to sarcasm mode. "Dad, come on now." I cleared my throat and started analyzing seriously. "What kind of conditions do we have? I'm just an ordinary college student, with a monthly living allowance of 2,000. My retired father used to be a craftsman and receives a pension of 5,000. My mom is a community worker with a salary of 4,000. Our family's total monthly income is 11,000. It's tight for us 3 to make ends meet with food, utilities, and social connections. Now you want to support one more person. Don't you know how much Lin Wanwan can eat? She can eat as much as 2 of us. Pork prices are skyrocketing, and so are other costs. Are you trying to drive our family into bankruptcy instead of helping us get ahead?" As soon as I finished speaking, the air at the dinner table went ice cold. My dad's smile froze on his face. My mom wanted to laugh but held it in, turning beet red. Lin Wanwan slowly lifted her head. Her eyes were filled with resentment. It was as if she was looking at a heartless scoundrel. Jiang Jie was trembling his lips. He seemed to have suffered a great injustice. I was about to say that I was doing this for the sake of our family's finances. A clear, crisp doorbell rang, breaking the damn awkwardness. Ding dong. Who could be coming at this hour? My mom got up, and I went to answer the door. I quickly slipped away from the dinner table. If I stayed any longer, I might be killed by Lin Wanwan's glare. He shuffled to the door in his flip-flops, peeking through the peephole. Wow, there's a line of people at the door. At the front stands a middle-aged man in a black tailored suit. His hair is slicked back, perfectly styled. He's wearing white gloves. His expression is serious, as if he's heading to a state banquet. Behind him are 4 burly men in black. Each one stands at 6'3" and wears sunglasses. Those pecs look like they could knock out a bull with one punch. With all this commotion, I thought a film crew was here. Are they filming The Godfather in our little neighborhood? I hesitated for a moment but still opened the door a crack. Who are you looking for? The man in the suit slightly bent forward. His voice was steady and magnetic. He resembled an English butler straight out of a movie. Is Miss Lin Wanwan here? I was taken aback. Looking for Lin Wanwan? Isn't her home just across the hall? I turned back and shouted into the room. Someone is looking for Lin Wanwan. She responded with an "oh" and stood up from the dining table. Wiping her mouth, she walked towards the door. My parents also curiously peeked over. When Lin Wanwan appeared at the entrance, the serious expression on the butler's face instantly melted away. In its place was an utmost respect. He suddenly bowed at a 90-degree angle, his voice booming. Miss, we finally found you. My parents and I were completely stunned. Why does being called Miss sound so high society? Lin Wanwan turned pale at the sight of this situation. She quickly pulled the butler aside. Lowering her voice, she spoke with a hint of reproach. Didn't Butler Wang tell you not to come here looking for me? The man called Butler Wang straightened up, his face showing confusion and grievance. Miss, I didn't want this either, but you've been out experiencing life for a whole month now. Grandpa is very worried about your health, afraid you might be malnourished, experiencing life's malnutrition. I looked down at the shiny braised pork on the table. Then I glanced at Lin Wanwan's rounder face. Is this what you call malnutrition? Then our whole family must be starving to death. But Butler Wang continued with his report. Moreover, the young lady in the master asked me to remind you. She cleared her throat and spoke in a tone as if she were reporting. The one you casually mentioned before, is planning to invest several billion in Europe. To acquire a few luxury brand projects. The board has approved it unanimously. We're just waiting for you to sign it when you return. The air was dead silent. I felt like my brain was a computer infected by a virus. Completely blue-screened. A few billion small projects. I slowly turned my head frame by frame. I saw my dad's cup of new Lanchin liquor in his hand. It clattered to the ground, shattering into 8 pieces. I saw my mom just pick up a piece of braised pork, about to put it in my bowl. It plopped back onto the plate, splashing my face with grease, and I stared blankly at that. Lin Wanwan, who was flustered and trying to get Butler Wang to be quiet. That girl next door, who has been wearing a 9 yuan t-shirt from Pinduoduo for 20 years, and eats my food better than anyone else. Is the one my dad was just thinking about marrying off, to save our family's reputation. Her dad is the richest man in the world. My worldview was completely shattered in that moment. Then I kept rubbing my feet on the ground. Only a few words kept playing in my mind. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. My dad, Comrade Zhang Jiangguo, is a staunch materialist. At this moment, he's sitting there, with his mouth agape. His eyes are blank, as if his soul has left his body. My mom, Ms. Zhang Huifeng, is clutching her chest. She's gasping for air, feeling like she's about to have a hypertension episode. As the youngest and strongest male in this family, I'm trying to hold it together a bit better. I just feel a bit weak in the legs, and I had to lean against the doorframe to avoid collapsing. Lin Wanwan is still whispering and tugging at Butler Wang. I told you it's a small issue. No need to rush, miss. It's a small matter to you. But for the company, this is about the strategic layout for the next 10 years. Butler Wang looked anxious. Oh, I get it. You go back first. I'll manage to get back on my own later. Lin Wanwan said impatiently with a wave. Butler Wang showed a look of the baby is struggling inside. But the baby kept it to himself. But the master has given a strict order. You have to be picked up today, he said. If you don't go home soon, he will cut off the entire internet worldwide. Until you show up, my dad and mom. Wow, I'm just speechless. Is this what being rich looks like? Cutting off the internet globally over a disagreement? Is Elon Musk a relative of yours? Lin Wanwan has finally run out of options. He sighed and turned his head back. He forced a smile that looked worse than crying. Uncle and aunt about Jiang Jie. I couldn't figure it out after a long time. It was my mom who regained her composure first. She trembled as she pointed at Butler Wang. Wait, who is this? She is our family's housekeeper. Lin Wanwan said softly. Doesn't your family only have your parents? My dad also found his voice again. But it sounds a bit airy. Lin Wanwan's face turned even redder. With her head down, her voice was barely audible. My parents are my life assistants. Boom, another bombshell. I felt like my head was about to explode. That guy who rides a beat-up electric bike every day, dressed in a security uniform, saw us, and bowed and said, Brother Jiang, you're drinking again. Like Uncle Lin. That was for a dime at the vegetable market. Can bargain with the vendor for half an hour. Aunt Lynn, with big wavy curls. She is her life assistant. So our family has been together for 20 years. I have always been with the daughter of the world's richest person, and be neighbors with the top living assistant team of the richest person. And they are comfortably accepting the free meals from the billionaire's daughter. I suddenly remember every time my parents served Lin Wanwan more food and urged her to eat more. When I see you thin. Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin next door. That complicated look of wanting to say something but holding back. I used to think that was touching, but looking back now, that was just him trying not to laugh. Poor thing, their daughter eats airlifted Wagyu beef at home and deep-sea caviar, while she comes to our house to eat braised pork, and we pityingly thought she was undernourished. It's like a beggar feeling sorry for an emperor without a golden rice bowl. The ultimate level of awkwardness. The toes have already started construction. The goal is to be in our small house of 60 square meters. Carve out a Versailles palace. I'm sorry to that uncle and aunt. I didn't mean to deceive you. Lin Wanwan was about to cry. I just want to live a little bit of an ordinary life. I love the atmosphere of your place so much. My mom opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but in the end, it was just a long sigh. My dad quietly bent down. He started picking up the broken pieces of glass from the floor, one by one. His silhouette looked as desolate as a philosopher who had just learned the truth. Butler Wang noticed the awkward atmosphere. He cleared his throat, trying to ease the tension. Mr. Jiang, Mrs. Jiang, and young Master Jiang, please don't misunderstand. The young lady is genuinely sincere towards all of you. The old gentleman has always been grateful to each of you. Thank you for taking care of the young lady all these years. As he spoke, he pulled an envelope out of his pocket, a thick envelope. This is a little token of my master's appreciation. Please accept it. He handed the envelope to my dad with both hands. My dad looked at the envelope. His hands trembled like he had Parkinson's and he didn't dare to take it. My mom also kept shaking her head. No, Mr. Wang, we can't accept this. We're taking care of Wanwan not for the money. Mr. Wang smiled slightly. His smile carried a hint of elegance that you don't understand. Ma'am, you've misunderstood. This isn't money, not money. I was wondering, could it be a shopping card? Butler Wang opened the envelope. He pulled out a stack of documents. He handed the documents to my dad. This is a gift from the master for everyone. It's a penthouse duplex in Tianyu Mansion, located in the prime area of the city center. A 360 square meter unit with a sky garden and a swimming pool. The property deed has already been processed. It's registered under Mr. Xiao Jiang's name. There's also an order for a Rolls-Royce Phantom and a limitless black credit card. The old man said, these are just appetizers. As long as Mr. Xiao Jiang doesn't bother Our Lady anymore, there will be even greater rewards to come. But Butler Wang's voice was very calm. Yet each word felt like a heavy hammer, striking hard at my heart. No more bothering for generous rewards. I understood instantly. So in the eyes of the richest person, I'm just that naive fool, trying to climb to the top from a poor mountain family. Is this a way to throw money at me? To make me leave? My dad's face instantly turned beet red. What do you mean by that? She was so angry she was shaking all over. We may be poor, but we have our pride. We treat Wanwan like our own daughter. How could you insult our dad like that? I stopped him. I could feel my dad's pride being trampled like never before. Lin Wanwan was also getting anxious, shouting at Butler Wang. Butler Wang, what nonsense are you talking? Who told you to do this? Did my dad misunderstand something? Butler Wang still maintained his professional smile. Miss, I'm just following orders. What a good little follower. I look at everything in front of me, and suddenly I feel calm. I even want to laugh a little. I take a deep breath and take the stack of documents from my dad's dazed hands. A hint of disdain flashes in Butler Wang's eyes, as if to say, see? The poor will always be poor. In front of money, all principles are just a facade. Lin Wanwan looked utterly incredulous. Her eyes were red. I ignored Jiang Jie. I just picked up that property deed and examined it closely. Zhejiang Tianyu residence in the city center. A top-tier luxury apartment at 200,000 per square meter. For 360 square meters, that's over 70 million. And a Rolls-Royce Phantom starts at over 10 million. Plus, there's an unlimited black card. This billionaire I've never met, Mr. Yue He. Mr. Fu Lin really knows how to spend lavishly. I put the documents back in the envelope. And then, to everyone's shock, I pulled out my phone. I opened the calculator. My parents were taken aback. Lin Wanwan was stunned. Butler Wang and the bodyguards behind him were also bewildered. They were probably thinking, is this kid really trying to calculate how much all this is worth? Then I got so excited that I fainted. I ignored their stares. My fingers were flying across the screen. I was mumbling something under my breath. The cost of 3 meals a day for one person. Let's say it was $10 according to 10 years ago standards. Now it should be 30. If we take an average of $20, that's $60 a day. In a year, 365 days, that adds up to $21,900. Lin Wanwan has been mooching off meals since she was 3, and now at 23, that's a total of 20 years. 20 years amounts to 438,000 yuan. Yeah, that's just for the food. I glanced up at the petrified Butler Wang. We should also factor in inflation. I'm not a professional, so I just casually calculate a compound interest rate of 5% per year. It's not a lot, right? Over 20 years, the principal and interest would be about 1.16 million. Plus, there are damages for mental distress, emotional investment fees, and my parents' labor fees for 20 years of unwavering support. These things are hard to quantify, but we need to have an explanation, right? And because of her, I've never been in a relationship. Everyone thinks we're a couple. Does this count as wasting my youth? I should factor in compensation for lost youth. I was calculating on my phone while talking. In the end, I came up with a number. I turned my phone screen towards Mr. Wong, with a serious expression and a serious tone. Mr. Wong, you go back and tell your master, we don't want the house, the car, or the card. You just need to settle the meal expenses for the last 20 years. Round it off to a nice whole number. I paused for a moment. I mentioned the figure I calculated precisely, 50 million. Once we settle the payment and clear everything between us, he can go his own way, while we enjoy our braised pork. A silence so deep, it was almost deafening. You could hear a pin drop. Butler Wang had that same old poker face. His expression at this moment was quite a sight, a swirl of green and white like a dye factory just opened. He's probably navigated the business world for many years, dealing with countless tricky issues for his family boss. He's seen numerous greedy people, and he's encountered many self-righteous individuals, but he has definitely never seen someone like me. Just a second ago, he thought I was a petty cash grabber. Then in the next moment, I pulled out a calculator and started calculating 20 years worth of meal expenses. This move completely exceeded his comprehension. Mr. Xiaojiang. He trembled for a while before finding his voice again. What do you mean by that? The meaning is quite clear. I shook my phone, looking completely justified. You pay for the meal, and we're square. You guys cover the bill. I'm cutting ties with old Lin Wang. It's a fair deal, isn't it? The court steward swayed a bit. I almost lost my balance. The bodyguard behind her quickly steadied her. Butler Wang, are you okay? I'm fine, he waved his hand. He took a deep breath, seemingly trying to calm himself down. He looked back at me. His gaze was filled with complexity. There was shock and confusion, but mostly, there was a sense of absurdity, like he had seen a ghost. Mr. Xiaojiang. Are you sure you're not joking? Does my expression look like I'm joking? I wore a serious expression. For the past 20 years, our family has been living frugally. We've endured hardships to give the best to Lin Wanwan. My parents wouldn't even spend their retirement pensions. They spent it all on buying him meat. What have we sacrificed? It's our emotions and efforts. The more I talk, the more agitated I become. It feels like I am the one who has been wronged the most. And now you all say you won't pursue it anymore? You think you can just throw some money at us and send us off? There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Let me tell you, family bonds are priceless. But turning the conversation, meals do have a price. It's 50 million, not a penny less. We accept WeChat, Alipay, and bank transfers. No checks, they're too slow to cash. My passionate and logically sound speech left everyone present in stunned silence. My parents have finally recovered from their shock. At this moment, I am using a way that my son is not. It is a gaze that looks stunned. Lin Wanwan, completely emerged from the sadness of being insulted, switched to a state of being speechless from being shocked by my amazing moves. He looked at me with red-rimmed eyes, as if he wanted to say something. But I don't know where to start. In the end, he stomped his foot and shouted at me, Jiang Jie, you bastard. After saying that, she turned around and ran away. The lady's housekeeper got anxious. Quick, tell the bodyguards to catch up with the young lady. 2 bodyguards immediately ran out after her. Only Butler Wang and the other 2 bodyguards were left on site. And us, a disheveled family of 3. Butler Wang looked at me with an expression that was beyond complex. It was a mix of absurdity, admiration, and an extreme headache. Mr. Jiang seemed to want to say something, but in the end, it just turned into a sigh. I will report this matter to the master, truthfully. He placed the envelope containing the property deed and car keys on the shoe rack by the door. Please hold on to these for now. As for the matter you mentioned before dinner, I'll discuss it with the master first. After saying that, he bowed to us again, then hurriedly left with the others. The door was closed. The whole world finally fell silent. I let out a long sigh. It feels like I've just fought a tough battle. My legs went weak, and I collapsed right onto the ground. Son, are you okay? My mom rushed over to help me up. Did you get scared silly just now? Why did you ask them for the money for the meal? My dad looked at me with a worried expression. I leaned against the wall and let out a bitter laugh. What else could I do if I didn't say it like that, Mom and Dad? I looked at them seriously and said, he's the richest man in the world. We're just ordinary folks. To him, we're no different from ants on the street. He uses money to drive us away. If we accept it, then we really will become small people who just want his money. We'll never be able to hold our heads up in front of him. If we refuse and try to drive them out with our integrity, they'll just think we're playing hard to get, trying to scheme for even bigger benefits. No matter what, it's wrong. So I have to play by my own rules. I picked up the envelope from the shoe cabinet and weighed it in my hand. I asked him for some money. It sounds ridiculous and absurd, but it's precisely this absurdity that can break his expectations. She thought I was just a money-hungry gigolo, but I seriously started talking to him about the basics of life. This contrast will spark her curiosity about me. Instead of just disdain and anger, he must be wondering what kind of weirdo this kid is. What on earth does he want to do? As long as he starts thinking, we won't just be ants he can manipulate, we'll have the right to negotiate. My parents were both taken aback. After a while, my dad murmured, I guess that's how it works. My mom gently patted my head with concern. Sorry for putting you through this, kid. I chuckled, not feeling wronged, but I do feel a bit socially embarrassed. Just thinking about how I was holding a calculator and acting all serious while talking nonsense. My toes are starting to twitch again. On the other side, in a stretched Rolls Royce, Lin Wanwan sat in the corner with red eyes, saying nothing. Butler Wong sat across from him, using an encrypted phone to make a call. A commanding man's voice came from the other end. So, has everything been taken care of? Butler Wang wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. He respectfully replied, Sir, there was a small unexpected incident. What unexpected incident? That kid thinks the money is too little. The man's voice turned cold. No. Butler Wang gathered his thoughts. He struggled to speak. He didn't want the money. He has some backbone. Then what does he want? To get shares in my company, or to be my son-in-law. The man's voice carried a hint of sarcasm. Butler Wang took a deep breath and said in a tone of resignation. She pulled out a calculator and did some math. She calculated the food expenses for the young lady over 20 years. There was silence on the other end for nearly half a minute. Butler Wang thought the signal had dropped. Hello, sir, are you still there? He's listening. A woman's voice came through the phone, seemingly trying to hold back laughter. Your master is having an existential crisis. Butler Wang could clearly hear a series of rapid breaths on the other end, and the sound of a cup being crushed. How much of a down payment has he calculated? Lin Wanyi's voice sounded like it was squeezed out from between his teeth. He said, considering inflation, the pain and suffering claims. Youth compensation fee, rounded off to 50 million. Puh ha ha ha. The girl on the other end who's been holding back finally couldn't help but burst into laughter. Hey Lin, come take a look. You're being seen as someone who just mooches off others. Ha ha ha. And you're still expected to pay the 50 million bill? You've killed me. Lin Wanyi ignored his wife's teasing. He fell silent for a long time. It took so long that Butler Wang thought he was going to order me to be drowned in the river. Finally, his deep voice came through the phone, with a hint of amusement, saying, it's quite interesting. What's this kid's name? Zhang. Lin Wanyi repeated the name to him. Butler Wang was taken aback. I said to give him 50 million. Lin Wanyi's voice was firm and left no room for doubt. I'm curious to see what this kid, who dares to ask me for money, will pull off next. After taking the money, what kind of tricks does he plan to play? The next morning, I woke up to a rapid knocking at the door. I had a messy bedhead. Still half asleep, I went to open the door. I thought it was Lin Wanwan coming over for breakfast again. But standing at the door was that Butler Wang from yesterday. Only today, she seemed even more respectful than yesterday. There was even a hint of curiosity in her eyes, as if she were looking at a rare animal. Good morning, Mr. Jiang. She gave a slight bow. I yawned. I've come on behalf of our master to deliver something to you. Saying this, he turned to the side. I saw 2 bodyguards behind him carrying a huge safe. What is this? I was bewildered. It's the money for the meal you requested. Butler Wang said with a serious expression. I was just joking yesterday. To break the deadlock. Who would have thought they took it seriously? And who pays for a meal with a safe? I was just joking about that Butler Wang yesterday. I tried to explain. Mr. Jiang, my husband said that once a word is spoken, it is hard to retract. The debt of 20 years' worth of meals must be repaid. Butler Wang is serious. She clapped her hands. 2 bodyguards let out a sound as they dealt with the half. The safe, as tall as a person, was lifted up, heavily placed in the center of my living room. The floor shook a little. My parents came out of the room at the sound. Even the mayor was dumbfounded. This is Mr. Jiang and Mrs. Jiang. This is what your family deserves. Butler Wang said as he took a key out of his pocket. He inserted it into the safe. After entering the password, there was a click, and the safe door opened. The dazzling golden light almost blinded me. The safe was full of gold bars, neatly stacked like bricks. This is equivalent to 0.50 million RMB in gold, based on international gold prices. Butler Wang explained that. The master said it takes up too much space these days. Gold is still more convenient. Convenient? You call that convenient? We don't even have a place to store it. Looking at that box of shiny gold, I felt like my breath had stopped. My parents just slumped down on the sofa. A look of, who am I and where am I? The expression of, how did my family suddenly have a gold mine? Butler Wang seems very pleased with our reaction. He closed the safe and handed me the key. Mr. Jiang, we have settled the payment. As agreed, I hope you won't have any further involvement with our young lady. Her words felt like a bucket of cold water, instantly extinguishing the flicker of greed that arose from seeing the gold bars. I looked at him, and then at the enormous safe. I get it. This isn't money for food. This is a breakup fee, and it comes with a sense of humiliation. Lin Wanyi is telling me, kid, I paid your price. Now take your money and get the hell away from me. My anger flared up instantly. I didn't take the keys. I just let out a cold laugh. Butler Wang, are you mistaken about something? Well, I mentioned the money for food for the past 20 years, but I never said anything about the future, I said slowly. Butler Wang was taken aback. Mr. Xiao Jiang, what do you mean by that? Are you trying to back out? No. I'm just waving my hand. What I mean is that this 50 million is just to settle past debts. From today on, if Lin Wanwan comes to my house for a meal again, we'll have to charge separately. I watched Butler Wang's expression gradually crack. I deliberately stretched out my tone. After all, with all this fuss you guys have made, our family's meal standards will have to be raised, right? What used to be a home-cooked meal now needs to meet Michelin 3-star standards. Charging him 80,000 or 100,000 for a meal isn't too much, right? Butler Wang looked at me, his mouth opening and closing in disbelief. He finally managed to squeeze out a response. You're such a scoundrel, too much praise. I smiled faintly. Compared to your master, I'm still far from it. At that moment, my phone rang. I picked it up and saw it was Lin Wanwan calling. I answered and switched to speakerphone. On the other end, her voice came through, choked with tears. Jiang Jie, did you take money from my dad? I openly admit I have a whole box of gold bars. I was just worried about where to put them. You jerk, he shouted in anger. I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. You'd give up our 20 years of relationship for money? What relationship? I feigned surprise. Is there anything between us besides a friendship? On the other end of the phone, Lin Wanwan was so angry she couldn't speak. All I could hear was his rapid breathing. I can imagine how furious he must be right now, pacing back and forth. But I have to do this. I want him to think that I'm just a mercenary, someone who only cares about money, a petty person driven by profit. Only then will they let their guard down around me. Only then can I find out why Lin Wanwan suddenly ran away from home. The real reason for hiding out at my place. But Butler Wang said it's to avoid a business marriage. Yet I can't shake the feeling that there's more to it. All right, nothing important. I'm hanging up, I said lazily. I need to figure out how to turn these gold bars into cash, then buy a big house, and marry a rich beauty to reach the peak of life. Jiang Jie, just you wait. I hate you. The call was abruptly ended. I put down my phone and looked at the pale-faced Butler Wang, who shrugged his shoulders. See, the problem is solved. She absolutely hates me now. She definitely won't come bother me again. Butler Wang stared at me intently, as if trying to read a flower from my face. After a moment, he snorted coldly, hoping so. She didn't say anything more and turned to leave. As she reached the door, she paused again. Turning back, she gave me a deep look. Mr. Jiang, my master asked me to deliver a message to you. He said that young people have a long way to go. Don't lose yourself over a little bit of money. The world is much more complicated than you think. After saying that, he walked away without looking back. I watched his retreating figure. The smile on my lips gradually faded. I certainly know that it's complicated. If it were just a simple business marriage, someone like Lin Wanyi has plenty of ways to handle it. There was no need for Lin Wanwan to run away from home at all. There must be a deeper reason why he's hiding at my place, and that reason is likely related to his marriage partner. I looked down at the huge safe in the center of the living room. Well, since you've set the stage for this, I'll join you in putting on a good show. I really want to see who is this marriage partner that even the richest man in the world finds troublesome. What kind of strange creature could that be? In the afternoon, I was searching online how to legally and discreetly handle a large amount of gold. A call came in from an unknown number, and I answered it. Hello, is this Jiang Ze? The voice on the other end was young but extremely arrogant. Who is this? This is Jiang Ze. You don't have the right to know who I am. The other side sneered coldly. I'm only giving you one piece of advice. Stay away from Lin Wanwan. She's not someone trash like you can mess with. I raised an eyebrow. My tone was quite assertive. What, are you his arranged marriage partner? The other party seemed taken aback by my directness. Looks like you're not too foolish after all. That's right, my name is Chu Tian, and soon I will be Wanwan's fiancé. Chu Tian, that name sounds like a domineering CEO. So you called to threaten me? I just laughed. It's not a threat, it's a notification. Chu Tian's voice was filled with disdain. I've done my homework on you. Just a poor student from an ordinary family. The 50 million Uncle Lin gave you is money you'll never earn in your lifetime. Taking the money and leaving is your best option. If you refuse to take the hint and insist on dreaming big. He paused, his voice turning cold. I'll make sure you and your family know what regret feels like. For example, making sure you can't graduate, making your parents lose their jobs, making your whole family struggle in this city. I can't even find a job sweeping the streets. It's an outright threat aimed at my family. My expression instantly turned cold. So, you're Chu Tian, huh? I don't care if you're some domineering CEO or a superstar. I'll tell you one thing. If you dare lay a finger on my parents, I guarantee you'll die to the beat. After saying that, I hung up the phone. I looked out the window, my eyes icy. Looks like this Chu Tian is the key to the problem. Someone who could make Lin Wanwan choose to run away from home to avoid them. Even someone like Lin Wanyi finds them tricky to deal with. Looks like money is the only way to solve this problem. This Chu Tian definitely has an impressive background. Moreover, he's arrogant and ruthless in his methods. Common approaches won't work on someone like him. We need to use some unconventional tactics. I pulled out my phone and found a number to call. The call connected quickly. Hey Jay, what's up? Out of money again? Just to be clear, I can only lend you 200 this month. Any more than that, and I'll be broke. On the other end of the line, I heard my college roommate, Fatty's voice. Fatty, can you do me a favor? As long as it's not about borrowing money, I'm fine with it. Help me find a guy named Chu Tian. He should be around 25 or 26. His family must be pretty wealthy. Very, very wealthy. Fatty paused for a moment. Jay, you've gotten involved with someone like that. I'm telling you, we can't mess with people like that. Take my advice and apologize quickly. I asked you to investigate him, not to give me a lecture. I interrupted him. Just tell me if you can look into it. The fat guy is from the computer science department. His biggest hobby is being an online presence. His skills are top-notch in school. He can do it. But Zay, this is illegal. I'll transfer you 50,000. I said calmly. The fat guy fell silent, closing a deal worth 100,000. The fat guy instantly changed his tone, sounding all flattering. Of course, Brother Jay, what do you need? Don't even mention investigating him. If you want me to dig up his ancestral grave, I'll get that done for you, no problem. If you want to know the color of his underwear, I'll dig it up for you. I laughed. No need to be that detailed. I just need to know what he fears the most, what matters most to him. And the more dirty secrets he has, the better. The fat guy works quickly. In less than a day, a secured file was sent to my email. The title is quite flashy. The ultimate compilation of CEO Chu Tian's epic fails and dark history. I opened it and took a look. The content is even more outrageous than the title. Chu Tian, 25 years old, the sole heir of the Chu Corporation with assets worth billions. On the surface, they appear to be young and promising, a decisive and ruthless business genius. Behind the scenes, they are extremely controlling, a somewhat neurotic paranoid. The document lists a series of his remarkable achievements. For example, she once had a crush on a female celebrity. Took a look at other male actors. They used their connections to blacklist that male actor. They also kept that female celebrity locked in the villa for a whole month. For example, she has a business rival. He made a snide remark to her at a party. The next day, that rival's company faced a full-scale hostile takeover. In the end, it was left in ruins. What's even crazier is that he's extremely superstitious. Every month, he spends a fortune hiring so-called masters for fortune-telling and feng shui. His desk is cluttered with all sorts of bizarre objects that have been blessed. Plus, he has severe OCD and a cleanliness obsession. Everything must be perfectly arranged. There can't be any deviation. In the end, the fat guy included a summary. This guy, Ji Gi, is a tough one. He's also a bit of a nutcase. Let's summarize his weaknesses. First, he's extremely arrogant. He thinks he has everything under control. Second, he's extremely superstitious. He's terrified of ghosts and spirits. Third, he's extremely OCD. He can't stand any disorder. To deal with someone like that, you have to be even tougher than him, or even crazier than him. I laughed when I looked at this report. I can't be tougher than him, but I can definitely be crazier than him, so I won't be feeling sleepy at all. I shut down my computer, took out my phone, and sent a text to Chu Tian. Let's chat tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the cafe by the south gate of the school. She replied back quickly. Who do you think you are to ask me out? I didn't reply to him. Instead, I sent over a photo that the chubby guy found. In the photo, Chu Tian is sneaking around in a temple. He is bowing deeply in front of a statue. There's also a tablet next to it. It has the name of one of his competitors written on it. 3 incense sticks are placed in front of the tablet. It's a typical voodoo doll ritual. After sending the modern-day message, it vanished into thin air. 10 whole minutes passed. Chushin just called. His voice was filled with suppressed anger. Where did you get that photo? I said leisurely. I have my own clever plans. So, Mr. Chu, do you have time to chat tomorrow? On the other end, there was a heavy breathing sound. Good, very good, he gritted his teeth and said. I want to see what kind of fool you are. What tricks are you planning to play? The next day, I arrived at the cafe, 10 minutes early, chose a seat by the window. At 10 o'clock sharp, a flashy red Ferrari sports car. It stopped at the door of the cafe with a deafening roar. The car door opened, revealing someone in a white suit. The hair is combed to a shiny gloss. A young man with the words, "I'm the best in the world," written all over his face, walked down. It was at that moment that Chu Tian pushed open the door and looked around. The gaze precisely locked onto me. Then, with a stride that seemed to disregard all kinship, he walked toward me. 2 bodyguards in black followed him, exuding a strong presence. The other customers in the cafe were taken aback by the commotion. They all cast curious glances. Chu Tian sat down across from me, crossing his legs. He looked at me with a disdainful gaze, as if I were trash. So, do you want to live or die? He got straight to the point, but I ignored him. I simply took a sip of my coffee. Then I pulled something out of my backpack and placed a compass on the table, antique brass material, covered with various incomprehensible symbols. Chushin was taken aback for a moment, furrowed his brow. What the hell are you doing? I didn't say anything, then pulled out a second item, a stack of yellow talismans, the third item, a peach wood sword, the fourth item, a bagua mirror, in less than a minute. The coffee table between us is filled with all sorts of mystical items, like compass talismans, peach wood swords, bagua mirrors, bells, sticky rice, and black dog blood. There's even bottled ketchup, replacing everything you could possibly think of. Chu Tian and his 2 bodyguards were completely dumbfounded. The other customers in the cafe also cast looks as if to say, is this person escaped from a mental hospital? I ignored everyone's gaze and picked up the compass. I seriously checked it against Chu Tian. My expression changed dramatically. Oh no, I suddenly stood up. With a terrified look, I pointed at Chu Tian. Hey, your yin hall is dark. There's a green light on your head, and you're surrounded by evil energy. Your time is running out, I shouted with all my might. The entire cafe fell silent in an instant. Everyone's gaze was focused on Chu Tian, on that face that was starting to turn green. What the hell are you talking about? Chu Tian was both shocked and angry. Though he was cursing out loud, a hint of panic clearly flashed in his eyes, because I had just touched upon the thing he feared the most, my nonsense. I let out a cold laugh, picked up the peachwood sword from the table, and performed a flourish with it. I am the 38th generation descendant of Longhu Mountain. The Taoist named Sha Diao travels the world, slaying monsters and eliminating evil, specially designed to help people like you who are troubled by little demons. I see you've been having nightmares every night lately, feeling out of sorts. You always feel like someone is watching you from behind. Chushin's pupils constricted. The information about the Ponza states that she has recently. There is a lot of pressure due to business matters. I have indeed been suffering from insomnia and vivid dreams. Do you step with your left foot first when you go to the bathroom? Is it a habit to use the right hand? I've started spouting nonsense again. Chu Tian is completely bewildered. How do you know it's nonsense? Isn't that what normal people do? But I can't help but wear a mysterious smile. The secrets of heaven must not be revealed. I walked around him once, shaking my head and sighing as I walked. Tesk. What a heavy aura of demonic energy. It's already infiltrated my very core. Mr. Chu, your situation is very dangerous. If this isn't dealt with, there will definitely be a disaster in 3 days. Chu Tian has already started sweating coldly on his forehead. He shouted angrily, but was clearly scared inside. Stop pretending to be supernatural. Someone throw him out. His 2 bodyguards were about to step forward. I suddenly shouted, "Stop!" I pulled out a yellow talisman from my pocket. I bit my fingertip to prepare the red ink. I drew a mysterious symbol on it. Then I tossed the talisman into the air. With a point of my peachwood sword, I called out urgently, just like the decree of the Supreme Old Lord. The demon, show yourself. I swiftly slapped that blood-stained talisman precisely onto Chu Tian's forehead. Chu Tian froze completely. He could feel the talisman on his forehead, wet and sticky. It still has a hint of sweetness. He instinctively reached out to grab it without thinking. I snapped at him sternly. This is my Dragon and Tiger Mountain Demon Suppression Talisman. The demon energy in you hasn't been expelled yet. If the demon energy rebounds next, you'll bleed from all 7 orifices and die on the spot. Chu Tian's hand froze in midair. He believed it. He really believed it. Because I acted it out so convincingly. It's also because he's extremely superstitious. So what should we do? Her voice was already tinged with tears. There's no trace of the domineering CEO left. Don't worry, I'll calm him down. As long as you cooperate with me, I guarantee you'll be safe and sound. I pushed him back into his seat, then picked up the bell on the table, and started to perform a ritual dance around him. While dancing, I muttered some incantations. Heavenly spirits and earthly spirits, come forth. Evil spirits, be gone. Circle left and circle right. Twist your neck and shake your hips. Early to bed, early to rise. Let's get moving. Everyone in the cafe was left dumbfounded. A domineering CEO in a white suit, with a talisman stuck to his forehead, sitting there with a look of terror, a Taoist priest in a t-shirt and jeans. They're doing a demonic dance version of calisthenics around him. This scene is so beautiful, I can't bear to watch. Those 2 bodyguards of Chu Tian, they're completely questioning their lives now. They're probably thinking, who am I? Why am I here? Why do I have to watch my boss being played like a monkey? Should I make a call? To have the mental hospital come and take these 2 away. I've been jumping for about 5 minutes. I feel like I'm about to run out of breath. I stopped to wipe the sweat off my face. With a serious look, I said to Chu Tian, this monster is too powerful. Its skills are deep, and regular methods won't work. So what should we do, master? Chu Tian was almost in tears. There's only one way. I looked at her with sincere eyes. Sincerity is key. You must publicly confess to those you've hurt in the past. Lay bare all your sins. Only then can you cleanse your karma and gain the forgiveness of the divine. Chu Tian's face turned pale. What? How can that be? I sneered. Then just wait for your demise. By the way, let me remind you of something. Did you drive your red Ferrari when you left today? Yes, the red candlelight also bleeds. You're definitely in for some trouble today. As soon as I finished speaking, a loud bang suddenly came from outside the cafe. We turned to see what had happened. It was a sanitation worker's tricycle, which had failed to brake in time, and crashed straight into Chu Tian's flashy red Ferrari. The front of the car was badly dented. Chu Tian's face turned pale instantly. Master, save me. He just fell to his knees with a thud. He wrapped his arms around my thighs. He cried so heartbreakingly. I confessed everything. Master, you have to save me. I watched Chu Tian kneeling on the ground, a mess of snot and tears. I couldn't help but feel overjoyed inside. I managed to hold back my laughter and helped him up. I patted his shoulder. With a face full of potential, I said, go on. The child knows that the gods are watching you. So on that sunny morning, at the most upscale cafe in City an incredibly magical scene unfolded. The heir of the Chu Group, a billionaire CEO, Chu Tian stood in the center of the cafe, facing a crowd of stunned onlookers, and began his confession. My name is Chu Tian, and I'm a jerk. I shouldn't have blacklisted Zhang San. I shouldn't have maliciously acquired Li Si. I shouldn't have. I was wrong. I really was wrong. He was slapping himself while talking. The sound was so loud, it was truly heartfelt. I stood by holding a peachwood sword. I looked like a wise master. Inside, I was laughing like crazy. Chushin, you're still too inexperienced to challenge me. In front of a sand sculpture, all tyrants are just paper tigers. Chushin's public confession quickly became the biggest joke in the world. I heard that after he returned, he locked himself in his room. He didn't leave the house for 3 days. His father is the chairman of the Chushi group. He was so angry he nearly had a heart attack. He directly cancelled all his cards, making him reflect in isolation. And my name as the sand sculpture master, it spread like wildfire in a mysterious little circle. Some even used connections to reach out to me. They wanted to pay a hefty sum for me to do some feng shui. Of course, I firmly declined. I mean, I'm just an amateur. I can put on a show, but the more I do it, the easier it is to get exposed. After that incident, Lin Wanwan kept quiet for a couple of days. She didn't call to scold me anymore. I guess he also has some channels. I heard about the glorious deeds of Chushin society's demise. I am digesting this ridiculous information. On the third night, I was huddled on the sofa playing games. The doorbell rang again. I thought it was my unreliable father-in-law again. Someone came and impatiently went to open the door. Standing at the door was Lin Wanwan. She is wearing a simple white dress and no makeup, hair tied up casually. His eyes are still a bit red. He looks like a little rabbit that's been wronged. He just stood there at the door, staring at me without saying a word. I leaned against the doorframe and didn't say anything either. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. After a while, he finally spoke softly. "Can I come in? What do you want to come in for?" "I don't have any Michelin meals for you to mooch off," I said on purpose. He bit his lip. Her eyes turned even redder. "Jiangjae, you're still mad at me, right?" "I'm not angry," I said calmly. "I'm just being businesslike. Your dad gave me 50 million to stay away from you. Since I took the money, I have to keep my promise. You're talking nonsense." He suddenly got agitated. "You're not that kind of person at all. You're just trying to provoke me on purpose." "Then what kind of person am I?" I raised an eyebrow. He was stumped by my question. He took a long time to respond. "Did you have anything to do with Chudian? Li Tian doesn't know him. I started to play dumb, and you still played along." He stomped his foot. "I've heard all about it. What a ridiculous reality show. Who else could come up with such a silly idea but you? So what? I just watched him. I helped you out of a jam. Don't you think you should show some appreciation? Considering our 20 years of friendship, I'll give you a 20% discount. So, it'll be 8 million for you." Your little face is flushed with anger. "You never stop talking about money. Are you so money-minded that you're scared of being broke?" I shrugged and acted indifferent. He stared at me intently for a full minute. Suddenly, he smiled. "Just like a little fox. Oh, so you want money, huh?" He pulled out a thermos from behind his back, waving it in front of me. "Inside is the Buddha jumps, over the wall, I personally made for you. I use the finest abalone, sea cucumber, and shark fin. The cost is about 200,000. I'll deliver it to you every day from now on. 20,000 a day until you're satisfied. How does that sound?" I was stunned. Is there really such a good thing? I looked at his face, which wore a sly smile. Suddenly, I felt things weren't so simple. "What exactly do you want to do or not do?" She shoved the thermos into my arms. "Consider it an advance payment for you being my boyfriend." Pfft, I almost choked on my own saliva. "What did you just say?" "I said I want you to be my fake boyfriend." She said each word deliberately, asking why. "Because although Chu Tian has calmed down for now, but my dad has arranged a new match for me. Li Tianwang and Zhao Tian, one more outrageous than the other." He looked completely disillusioned, "So I need a shield. One that will make my dad completely give up hope. To think that my taste is hopelessly bad. I can only use a shield that makes me look like I'm settling for a greedy and silly poor guy." She looked at me with sparkling eyes. "And you, Jiangja, are the best candidate. I finally get it. So I spent half a day on this. From a little pretty boy trying to climb the social ladder, to a sand sculpture that can be used as a shield. Do you want this kind of luck? I'm not interested. I firmly refuse. 200,000 a day. It's not about the money. 300,000 a day. Jiang Jie has his own principles. 500,000 a day plus gourmet meals. Deal. My principles seem so fragile in the face of money and food, but I have one condition." I cleared my throat, trying to regain some dignity. "You said the first one was just a disguise. There can be no physical contact, all right? For the second one, you can cover all the expenses. No problem. And the third, which is the most important point." I looked at him with a serious expression. "You need to tell me what exactly you're hiding. Don't tell me it's a business marriage. I won't buy it." The smile on Lin Wanwan's face slowly faded away. She fell silent for a long time before softly speaking. "Do you really want to know?" He sighed. A complex emotion flashed in his eyes, one I couldn't understand. "It's because of a bet, yes. My grandfather's generation made an agreement with the old man of the Chu family. There's also a mysterious family involved in this pact. The descendants of the 3 families must marry each other. The winner gets something. What could it be? A treasure map." I'm speechless. I thought I was listening to some urban business drama, but then the conversation took a turn and became about the tomb raiding notes. "That treasure map.es said to point to a treasure worth a fortune, ought enough to change the world order." Lin Wanwan's voice was very soft. "The Chu family has always had their eyes on this treasure. That's why Chu Tian is so determined to get it from me. Then, why doesn't your dad? My dad doesn't want me involved in this conflict. He feels like he has enough money. Safety is the most important thing. That's why he wants to pay you off. To completely cut ties with all of this, what about you? Why don't you just tell your dad you don't want the treasure? Because Lin Wanwan looked at me with such determination. Because there's something in that treasure that can cure my mom's illness. I was stunned. I always thought Lin Wanwan's mom was just busy with work or gone. What happened to your mom? She has a very rare disease. She's been in a coma, lying in the best nursing home in Switzerland, relying on expensive medical equipment to stay alive. All the doctors say there's no hope. Only the notes left by my grandfather mention that treasure contains a legendary spring of life. It might be the only hope. I fell silent. It turns out this girl who comes to my house for meals every day, laughing carefreely. He carries such a heavy story in his heart, his so-called experience of life, the so-called running away from home. It's all just his clumsy rebellion in search of hope. I watched his eyes well up with tears. Somewhere deep in my heart, I suddenly softened. I opened the thermos in my arms. The rich aroma instantly filled the whole room. I scooped up a spoonful, I blew on it, and brought it to his lips. He was taken aback. What are you doing? Just taste it, I said expressionlessly. If the food made by your future boss isn't good, I might just deduct your salary. He looked at me, stunned, with his mouth agape. I spooned some Buddha jumps over the wall into his mouth. He chewed, and a tear fell with a plop. Amidst her sobs, she said it was supposed to be salty. I rudely grabbed a tissue to wipe her tears. From now on, let all your tears fall into the pot. Eventually, he looked at me and burst into laughter. Jiang Jie, you're such a jerk. Thanks for the compliment, but I've silently made a decision. Alright, it's just a treasure, right? Isn't it just some mysterious family? Since you can't handle it alone, I'll bear it with you. Who told me I've been living off your family for 20 years, even if you were just leeching off me? Ever since I agreed to be Lin Wanwan's contract boyfriend, my life has changed completely. First, the food standards skyrocketed. From home-cooked dishes to national banquet quality every morning, Lin Wanwan would show up on time with a huge food box. Inside were various top-tier ingredients I had only seen on TV, like Australian lobsters, French oysters, and Japanese Wagyu beef. My parents were initially taken aback, but they soon became numb to it. Now the first thing my dad does every morning is ask me, "Son, are we having abalone or shark fin today?" His tone is as casual as asking if we're having steamed buns or dumplings. First of all, my bank account balance increases by 500,000 every day. In just a week, I became a millionaire with a net worth of several million. The first thing I did was to resign my parents from their jobs. Then I took them to the best health check center for a full checkup. As my mom would say, raising a son is a way to ensure our future. My son is really doing well now. He can even support us. Of course, all of this is just the surface. The real work has only just begun. Lin Wanyi, my dear father-in-law, upon learning that her daughter was dating a greedy and foolish guy like me, she reportedly crushed an antique teacup on the spot. Then he began his tests. On the first day, he sent an invitation, inviting me and Lin Wanwan to a prestigious charity auction gala. In Lin Wanwan's words, it was to give me a taste of the high life. Feeling inferior, I thought about backing out. On the day of the gala, I showed up at the venue, dressed in the custom suit Lin Wanwan had prepared for me, looking quite dapper. The venue is filled with socialites, all dressed to the nines. Everyone has a polite smile on their faces. They are discussing business terms I can't understand. Lin Wanyi is surrounded by a group of people. He glanced at me coldly before looking away. Then he turned his head. His gaze was as if he were looking at a mutt mixed in with a flock of swans. Lin Wanwan seemed a bit nervous. She whispered to me, "Don't be afraid. Stick close to me and say little." I nodded. Then we headed straight for the buffet area. Why not enjoy all this delicious food? I was weaving through the dining area with my plate. I piled up the foie gras and caviar cupcakes into a small mountain. People around me looked at me like I was a monster. Lin Wanwan covered her face. She wished she could just disappear into a crack in the ground. I didn't care about them at all. I found a corner with my little mountain of food. I was enjoying every bite. Just as I was eating, Lin Wanyi walked over with a glass in hand. A few wealthy onlookers were following behind him. "Mr. Jiang, are you getting used to the food?" he asked with a forced smile. It's fine. With my mouth full, I mumbled. "This foie gras is a bit rich." A plump woman behind him chuckled. "Mr. Zhang is truly humorous. This is top-quality foie gras flown in from France. One serving costs over $1,000. Really?" I looked at the foie gras on my plate in surprise. Then I better eat more to make back my investment. As I said this, I stuffed a big piece into my mouth. Lin Wanyi twitched the corner of his mouth. He took a deep breath, pointing at a blue and white porcelain vase that was about to be auctioned off on the stage. "Mr. Jiang, what do you think of that Yuan Dynasty blue and white piece? It's a very beautiful porcelain vase. It glows with a soft blue light under the lights." The host was passionately introducing its history and value. "The starting bid is 80 million. We took a quick glance, and then I seriously asked Lin Wanyi a question. "Uncle Lin, do you think this bottle is sturdy?" Lin Wanyi was taken aback, wondering what I meant. "What I mean is," I put down the plate and gestured. "This expensive bottle, if I bought it home to pickle vegetables, would it leak?" The chubby rich guy behind him sprayed red wine everywhere. Others also looked like they were holding back laughter. Lin Wanyi's face turned as dark as a frying pan. He stared at me intensely. He squeezed out a few words through gritted teeth. "You're great." After saying that, he turned and left. If only he could take one more look at me. He was afraid he might have a heart attack on the spot. I shrugged, watching his flustered back. Isn't this just a case of trying too hard and failing? Let me show you what a dimensional strike looks like. Defeating pretentiousness with silliness. After failing the test at the auction, Lin Wanyi has been quiet for 2 days. On the third day, he came up with a new plan. He summoned me and Lin Wanwan to the headquarters of the Lin Group. A huge conference room was filled with the group's executives. Everyone was dressed in suits and had serious expressions. Lin Wanyi sat at the head of the table, pointing at a complex project proposal on the projector. "This is the most important project for our group in the next quarter. It's about developing new energy sources. However, we are currently facing a bottleneck with a key technology." He looked at me with a hint of provocation in his eyes. "Mr. Jiang, since you're Wanwan's boyfriend, that makes you somewhat one of us. Why don't you give us your thoughts?" All the executives' eyes instantly turned towards me. There was curiosity, disdain, and a sense of entertainment. They all knew about my glorious achievements. Clearly, Lin Wanyi was trying to make me look bad on purpose. Lin Wanwan nervously kicked me under the table, gesturing for me to keep quiet. I gave him a reassuring look. Then I stood up. I walked up to the projection screen and studied it carefully for quite a while. The plan was filled with all sorts of technical jargon and data models. The conference room was eerily silent. Everyone was waiting to see me make a fool of myself. After about 5 minutes, I turned around and cleared my throat. "Uncle Lin, esteemed executives, I finished reviewing the plan." I felt like I intentionally paused for a moment. I had everyone on the edge of their seats. "I think there's a big problem." Lin Wanyi chuckled and said, "I'd love to hear more." "This plan is too complicated." I said it with a straight face. "There's data, models, and all sorts of technical jargon that no one understands. Don't you think this is a huge waste of time?" A Mediterranean-haired executive couldn't help but chime in. "Mr. Jiang, this is a business plan, not child's play. Of course it needs to be rigorous." "Rigorous! Rigorous! Can that be put on the table?" I retorted. "Let me tell you, doing business is just like playing a game." I picked up a pen and drew a simple sketch on the whiteboard. "Right now, you guys are like fighting a big boss. Your strategy is like researching different bosses, calculating their health, analyzing their movements. Is it useful? Kind of, but it's way too slow. So how do real experts take down a boss?" I looked at them and gave a mysterious smile. "It's all about finding the bugs. You see, this technical bottleneck is like a boss. With an invincible skill, you insist on facing it head-on. Of course, we can't win. Why not think about whether there's a way to go around it?" I drew a circle in an inconspicuous corner of the sketch. "For example, the energy transfer in this area. Why has your conversion rate been stuck? Because there's an issue with your materials. Why not try combining material A and material C.N an unexpected way?" "That's impossible." A technical supervisor immediately rebutted. "The physical properties of material and material C are completely incompatible. Forcing them together will only cause an explosion." "Who said we should force them together?" I shot him a glare. "Can't you first use the material coins to neutralize the two? It's like when you play a game and before using a skill, you have to apply a debuff to the boss, right? Using materials guarantees a hit." And that tech supervisor was left speechless. Suddenly fell into silence. All the technicians in the conference room began to whisper among themselves. Lin Wanyi also frowned. Although she didn't understand technology, she could tell that my words seemed to have touched on some key points. This line of thought, the technical supervisor suddenly looked up, his eyes shining as if he had discovered a new world. "Theoretically, it's completely feasible. How did we not think of this? We've been stuck in a fixed mindset." He excitedly rushed to the whiteboard and started frantically writing and drawing. The whole conference room instantly transformed into a lively technical seminar. And here I was, the instigator, quietly returning to my seat, hiding my achievements and fame. Honestly, I don't know anything about new energy. I was just playing games last night. I saw a tutorial video. It talked about how to use some trash materials to craft a top-tier item, which can bypass the boss's invincibility skill. What I just said was simply subleaching the game's terminology to the terms used in their plan. I didn't expect a blind cat to catch a dead mouse. They actually provided them with inspiration. An hour later, the technical director rushed over with a stack of papers filled with formulas. Excited, he ran up to Lin Wanyi. "The chairman said we have succeeded. Following Mr. Zhang's ideas, we found the breakthrough. This technical bottleneck has been resolved." The whole meeting room erupted in excitement. All the executives looked at me with eyes full of wonder. They couldn't imagine that a world-class problem that had plagued their team for months was solved by an outsider, using a gamer's approach. Is this science or some kind of mysticism? Lin Wanyi was completely stunned. He looked at me with eyes filled with unprecedented shock and confusion. He originally wanted me to embarrass myself, but instead I handed him an incredible achievement. It felt like he had punched a pillow. I even cut my hand on a steel plate hidden in the cotton. You have no idea how frustrating that was. I couldn't help but smile at his wonderfully expressive face. I picked up my teacup and took a gentle sip. Surprised, huh? That's the spirit. If you play with me, I can use 100 unexpected tricks. I'll grind your worldview into the dirt. Ever since I made a name for myself at the Lin Group's meeting, Lin Wani's attitude towards me has done a complete 180. He no longer tries to make me look foolish. Instead, he started researching me. He would send all sorts of strange things, like a Luban lock or the 9-link ring, even math competition problems, trying to test the limits of my intelligence. Of course, I accepted everything. Then I'd flip them and sell them on Xianyu. He even tried to discuss philosophy with me, from Socrates to Nietzsche. He wanted to figure out how my mind works. I started discussing the Tao Te Ching with him. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Uncle Lin, the reason you don't understand it is that your perspective is still stuck at a moral level. I've already reached the realm of the eternal Tao. Lin fell silent for a long time after hearing this. Then he went back and had someone buy all the copies of the Tao Te Ching for the company. He locked himself away to study for 3 days. Lin Wanwan told me that her dad now looks at me with a different gaze every day. It feels like looking at an extraterrestrial being, filled with awe, curiosity, and a hint of fear. He completely gave up the idea of splitting us up because he found out that I am a player who doesn't play by the rules. He can't control it at all. Forcibly breaking us apart, who knows what even more outrageous things I might do. My contractual relationship with Lin Wanwan, also because there is no external pressure anymore, becoming more and more real. We will go to the night market together and eat street food. I'll tease him about his messy eating habits. He'll snatch the last piece of meat from my bowl. We'll huddle on the couch playing games, and I complain about his skills. He scolds me for not cherishing the beauty. Everything feels like it did when we were kids. The only difference is my bank account balance. It's still growing steadily at a rate of 500,000 a day. One day, Lin Wanyi suddenly called us to his house. It was a huge mansion located halfway up the mountain. It looked as grand as a castle. Lin Wanyi sat behind the massive mahogany desk in the study. His expression was more serious than ever. There's new development regarding the Chu family. He got straight to the point. That fool Chu Tian has been in trouble since his last public embarrassment. His father, Chu Xiong, personally got involved. He used some underhanded methods. He found some clues about the treasure. What clues? I asked him. He discovered the 3 keys to unlock the treasure. They're hidden in 3 different places, and one of them is already with the people that Chu Xiong sent over. The goal is clear, to obtain the key at any cost. Lin Wanwan's face turned pale. What are we going to do? I've already strengthened the security, but Chu Xiong is ruthless and will stop at nothing. I'm worried he might pose a threat to you. Lin Wanyi's gaze fell on me. Jiang Jie, I know you have some unique abilities. He is carefully choosing his words, so I want to ask you to protect Wanwan, to keep her safe. I can nod in agreement, but I have a question. Where are the other 2 keys you mentioned? And what exactly is this so-called mysterious family? Lin Wanyi fell silent. This matter is quite complicated. That mysterious family is known for its unpredictable nature. Their strength is unfathomable. They seem to be the true guardians of the treasure. As for the other 2 keys, one is in the hands of the Qin family, and the whereabouts of the other one are unknown. So the current situation is that the Chu family wants to seize it, while the Qin family wants to protect it. We are caught in the middle. You could say I understand now. This is a 3-way standoff, and Lin Wanwan and I have already been unwittingly drawn into the heart of the game. I understand. I'll stand up. Uncle Lin, don't worry, as long as I'm here. No one can touch a hair on Lin Wanwan. My tone is very calm, but it carries an undeniable confidence. Lin Wan looks at me with a complex expression. He probably still doesn't get it. Where does this silly confidence of mine come from? The next few days were peaceful. It seems that the Chu family hasn't shown up, but I know this is just the calm before the storm. Sure enough, trouble came a week later. That day, Wanwan Lin and I were on a date at the school library. Actually, I had dragged him here to help me write my paper. Suddenly, my phone vibrated. It was a text from Fatty Jay. Be careful, I've detected an unknown force. It's approaching your location. They are well equipped and up to no good. I focused my gaze and came. I looked up and glanced around the library. Soon I was in the corner of the bookshelf. Several suspicious individuals have been discovered. They are all dressed in casual clothes, but the posture of walking and the vigilant gaze expose their extraordinary identity. They are quietly converging toward our direction. Lin Wanwan also sensed that something was off. Tightly grabbed my arm. Jiang Jie, don't be afraid. I patted his hand and whispered that it was just a show. I suddenly stood up, pointing at Lin Wanwan with a face full of anger. Lin Wanwan, you've gone too far. My loud voice successfully drew the attention of the entire library. Lin Wanwan was taken aback, wondering what was wrong with me. You actually hid your pocket money behind my back, I said. Heartbroken, Lin Wanwan was completely stunned. The few people who were about to act were also stunned. They were probably thinking, we're here to carry out a secret mission. How did we suddenly walk into a family drama set? I didn't give them any time to react. I walked around the table and snatched Lin Wanwan's bag. I dumped everything out onto the table. Lipstick, powder, a small mirror, and a few bank cards. I picked up those cards and held them high. See, it's just these. He lied to me saying he was out of money, but he secretly applied for so many cards. Lin Wanwan, it's over between us. After saying that, I took those cards and ran out of the library without looking back. Jiang Zhe, give me back my cards. Lin Wanwan also realized what was happening and quickly chased after me. The few assassins were completely bewildered. This script isn't right. What happened to the kidnapping plan? How did it turn into a bank card robbery? The leader gritted his teeth. He whispered, forget about it. Just chase him. Thus, a bizarre scene unfolded on campus. I'm running ahead, shouting, catch the thief. As I go, someone's robbing a bank card. Lin Wanwan is chasing from behind, shouting as she runs. Jiang Zhe, you bastard. Give me back my limited edition black gold card. A group of black-clad assassins are relentlessly pursuing them from behind, yet they dare not reveal their identities. They can only run along, feeling frustrated. The surrounding students quickly pull out their phones. They start filming this annual spectacle. Shocking, eh? The campus heartthrob, troubled by love, robbing his girlfriend's bank card in public. 100 ways for a silly boyfriend to break up. I sprinted straight to the school's security booth, leading them right there. I slammed my card down on the table, facing the security guard who was dozing off inside. I said, panting, sir, I'm here to confess. I stole my girlfriend's card. I'm guilty. The security guard was startled awake, completely shaken off his sleepiness. He looked at me, then at Lin Wanwan, who was catching up from behind, and at the group of panting plainclothes passersby, utterly confused. What in the world is happening here? Just then, the sound of police sirens blared. Several police cars raced in, surrounding the small security booth completely. A team of armed SWAT officers got out of the vehicles. I had alerted the police in advance using the anonymous app the fat guy gave me. The report stated that a group of armed terrorists was spotted on campus, chasing 2 students. The assassins turned pale at the sight, wanting to flee, but it was too late. Don't move, the police shouted, raising their hands. The SWAT team rushed in all at once, swiftly dealing with the situation. Just knocked them all down to the ground. A handgun silencer and anesthetic needles were found on them, and they were caught red-handed. Watching this dramatic scene, Lin Wanwan opened her mouth wide. After a long while of silence, she looked at me. Her eyes were filled with admiration. He finally understands why I want to be in the library. The venue staged such a ridiculous performance. I am using the most outrageous way to nip danger in the bud. I winked at him proudly. Then I turned to the police officer next to me with a face full of regret and said, they are them, and I am me. Even though they are terrorists, I also committed a crime. I stole my girlfriend's bank card, although it didn't have a cent in it. The nature of the act was serious. I requested to be locked up with them, so I could reflect on my mistakes. The officer looked at me, then glanced at the group of killers nearby, who seemed ready to give up. His mouth was twitching wildly. He patted me on the shoulder and said earnestly, young man, your brain is a valuable thing. You need to get it checked. In the end, the Chu family's assassins were all captured, and because I acted bravely and turned myself in, the officer just gave me a verbal warning and let me go. This matter has also completely made me in City A. The upper-class circle has stepped out of the riverbank. No one dares to underestimate me, this silly real person, anymore. Lin Wanyi directly took over the Lin Group. 10% of the shares have been transferred to my name. It is elegantly called a betrothal gift. I looked at the long string of zeros in my account. For the first time, I felt the boredom and monotony of rich people. In the end of the story, with the joint effort of me and the Ponzas, we successfully found the dirt on the Chu family and the Qin family. In the way they fear the most, they were forced out of the treasure hunt. As for the key hidden in City A, it has always been with Lin Wanwan. It's a pendant necklace left to her by her mother, and regarding the so-called Fountain of Life, we found it too. It doesn't grant resurrection, but it's an extremely rare energy mineral, capable of providing nearly unlimited power to top-tier medical equipment. It was precisely thanks to her mother that Lin Wanwan. I finally woke up from my coma. Everything had the most perfect ending. On a sunny afternoon, I lay on the lawn of my villa, enjoying the bliss of relaxation. Lin Wanwan was sitting next to me with a plate of sliced fruit. Hey Jiangji, let's get married. I was taken aback and looked at her. In the sunlight, her eyes sparkled brighter than the stars. I smiled and said, marriage sounds good, but I have one condition. What condition? She asked nervously. She leaned in and whispered something in his ear. His face turned red from embarrassment after hearing it. He picked up a piece of watermelon and shoved it into my mouth. Jiangje, you rogue. What exactly did I say? What I said was, from now on, you'll cook at home, and I'll do the dishes. After all, I've been eating your food for 20 years, so I should repay you, even though you've been relying on me. But for the rest of our lives, I want to take turns feeding you.